Never thought I'd be standing here. It's a nightmare. I've had to put trust in the people I don't know. Today, I got the worst news and the best news. Obviously, we know what the worst news is, but the best news is that justice will be served. And I'll make sure that justice is served because my boy did not deserve any of this that has happened to him.
The boy she's talking about is 11-year-old Gannon Stauch, and that was his mom speaking. And behind his mom, over her left shoulder, that was Gannon's father. Now, Gannon's mother and father had split up, so for the last few years, Gannon was being raised by another woman who was married to his father, his stepmother, Letecia Stauch, and his father were raising him. They were in Colorado. His mom, I believe, was back in South Carolina. But now Letecia Stauch, the stepmother, is the one accused of murdering this little boy. So, of course, Dad is like, files for divorce. You're not going to be married to a woman accused of murdering your 11-year-old son. I mean, it is, destroyed this man. He couldn't even speak at the press conference. He was so broken up about this, the poor guy. But now there's a court date for Letecia Stauch and Gannon's father in family court. Ted Rollins has more tonight.
His infectious smile brings me joy every time I think about it.
That's Albert Stauch talking about his then missing son, Gannon, back in February. Gannon's mother, Landon, and sister, Lena, are with Albert in the video asking for the public's help. Not present is Albert's wife, Letecia Stauch, who we now know is accused of killing Gannon. Albert has filed for divorce, saying his marriage with Letecia is irretrievably broken. His petition quite simply states that Letecia is charged with the first-degree murder of petitioner's son. Albert, a member of the National Guard, goes on to ask the judge for the following: that he be awarded his military retirement and that any remaining marital property be equally divided. He gets the dog, Sadie, and Letecia not be awarded spousal maintenance or attorney's fees. While it's pretty clear while Albert would want to divorce Letecia, it is also potentially very important for prosecutors.
You can do a lot more in a divorce case than you can do in a criminal case. You can take depositions. You can subpoena information that may be relevant in the divorce case that the prosecution might not know about or might not be able to find. So the husband, I'm sure, is working with the prosecution. The prosecution may be saying, listen, I want you to take her deposition. I want to see how she answers this question. I want to see if she takes the Fifth Amendment on everything.
A divorce also clears the way for Albert to testify against Letecia at trial.
He's divorcing her. He will be able to testify and say whatever he wants about her. And that's probably another blow to their defense on the wife's side.
Gannon Stauch was reported missing from his home in Colorado Springs in late January. After telling investigators several different stories, Gannon's stepmother Letecia was taken into custody in South Carolina in early March. Gannon's body had not been found, but prosecutors at the time said they had the evidence.
The last number that I heard was over 107 search warrants in this case. I think that number is bigger than that number, though, just based on, that was last week sometime that I heard that.
Those warrants recovered evidence of blood stains on Gannon's mattress, blood spatter on this electrical socket next to his bed, evidence of blood in the garage and near the bumper of Letecia's vehicle. Many of these blood samples were directly linked to Gannon's DNA. 3 weeks after the findings, Gannon's body was found in Florida and Letecia was charged with murder.
Today I filed new formal charges in the case against Letecia Stauch. Those charges are murder in the first degree after deliberation, a Class 1 felony that carries a potential prison sentence of life in prison without parole. In addition to that, I've filed 8 counts of crime of violence for the alleged use of a firearm, a blunt instrument, a knife or other sharp object, and for causing the death of Gannon Stauch.
Letecia Stauch has pleaded not guilty and has a preliminary hearing set for June 5th.
So, 2 cases going at once, completely different cases, but both important. And interesting there that perhaps she could be deposed in the divorce case, and maybe that's a way to get some more information here. Let's bring in Ted Rollins. Ted, so there's a court date some sort of status conference happening. So what's the latest? And will she, and this is fascinating, right? Because it's not usual that you get divorced while in jail, right? Awaiting murder charges. Maybe it's more common than I think. But will she be brought into the courtroom, and will Gannon's father be there with his son's alleged killer?
Well, let's start with what's next. That's tomorrow. There is a status hearing tomorrow, status conference. We're not sure the form of that, whether it will be teleconference, video conference, or if she will be in court. We'll find that out tomorrow. And then she does have that June 5th, which is still on the books for the preliminary hearing. As far as the divorce goes, it's fascinating because, will she be brought in from custody? And I talked to an expert today on this, Randy Kessler, who's a fantastic divorce lawyer. He says it happens all the time. You think about it. When someone is incarcerated because they've done something, the partner wants a divorce, right? So it does happen. You just coordinate it with the jail and bring it in. Now, will she want to endure that? Because this is pretty cut and dry. If she just says, fine, grants the divorce, her attorney can appear on her behalf. She wouldn't have to come in. But if she wants a field trip and she wants to sit next to her ex-husband, soon-to-be ex-husband, she can absolutely get herself there. And imagine that. There has to be heavy security because this guy, I'm sure, would love to just turn around and take matters into his own hands.
Yeah, it's heartbreaking for him, but that heartbreak is going to turn into seething anger. I mean, divorce cases are usually bad enough. Could you imagine putting this on top of it? It's incomprehensible. All right, what about Letecia Stauch and her story, or should I say stories, because she has spoken, right?
Yeah, and originally when Gannon was first missing, she said, well, the last I saw, he went off to play. We had gone somewhere and come back. Well, the Ring doorbell next door killed that one. And that's when suspicions arose. That's when her husband started to turn on her. When everybody realized, Letecia is lying. Then, when there was so much evidence piling up, she says, actually, I was raped by some Hispanic guy, and that guy took Gannon after he raped me. Will you take a lie detector test, Letecia? No, I won't do that. Then she goes online and tries to buy a fake lie detector test that she's going to return back to Colorado with. This case has a mountain of evidence, physical, and then also her steps online, her actions, and what she's talked to police. In fact, I would be surprised if it goes to trial. There is so much evidence against her. If I'm her defense attorney, I would take any kind of deal because she is done.
Yeah, but I don't think she gets a deal. The trickiest part, though, is that Gannon was actually found in Florida. So, there's some mystery in my mind as to how all this happened, but it'll be fascinating as we get closer to that preliminary hearing in Colorado. Ted Rowlands, thank you, sir.
You bet.